Hello folks, and welcome to my brand new channel, 70s Collectibles. Many of you may know me from my Facebook page if you've ever owned one of these oddball stereos from the late 70s. I want to talk a little bit for those of you who've been following me on Facebook but don't really know who I am or how I came to be the expert on inexpensive electronics, we should say. Basically, it actually goes back, and I'll make the story quick, but it goes back to my childhood when I had a cousin who happened to be an only child. And one particular Christmas, he got one of these amazing, we called it a disco stereo at the time. It was probably 1978. And my parents had 3 kids. We didn't get huge gifts like that. I mean, we had plenty. We had too much, but we didn't get, generally a huge gift like that for what it would have cost back in the day. So I was jealous. And I really just remember thinking that was the most awesome stereo ever. So fast forward, I'm about 32 years old. We're going back maybe 17 years ago and 18 years ago. And basically I was on Craigslist just looking through the for sale section. It was a boring day, had nothing else to do. And I came across a Soundesign Trendsetter 2000, which is this model right here, the black one that my son requested I put a Beatles logo on. This was not a for sale item. This was just a personalized item I made for my oldest son. But it had the light at the bottom, what they used to call a sound organ or a light organ. That's where the lights blink to the bass in the music. That wasn't working at the time. And the plastic was busted, and the molding that you see here that's chrome was all peeling off, more like you see on a unit like this one here. And we'll do close-ups as we go about this series. I ended up going to a lot of repair shops to get it done, to get it repaired, and I really didn't know a lot about restoring the finish on the cabinet. So I did the best I could, and I was thrilled with what I ended up with. We used some old record stickers and put them on the side. When I first got this black one over here, it actually had a wood grain finish to it. These LP vinyl stickers we didn't even have Wish back then, but it was some similar thing like that on the internet, and they never came. So the stereo sat proudly in my house at the time in the original wood grain, cleaned up. And it was literally like a year and 2 or 3 months later, and a surprise package arrives at the house. And much to my wife and I's surprise, it was the vinyl stickers we ordered that looked like records. So I had put those on the side, and that was kind of where it all started. But later on, I had the opportunity to pick up a second one, and it was also in need of repair. And, they're really not worth a lot of money. They're more just kind of nostalgic and fun to own. Soundesign was never a high-end brand. So I knew that if I was going to restore it or have it restored, I had better learn how to do some of this myself. I mean, my wife wasn't going to be okay with me spending endless amount of money. And a lot of times you get these going, and then all of a sudden, the 8-track goes up, and it's 45, 50-year-old electronics. So no matter what you do, you're always going to it's kind of like owning an old car. You've always got something to fix on it. But it's a labor of love if you like this sort of thing. So in this video series, what we're going to be doing is restoring this original Soundesign Trendsetter 7, which came to me through the Facebook page. I had a request. Kind of a neat story. I'm not going to disclose my client for privacy reasons, but I will say that a popular television series that's being produced here in my state, basically somehow or another someone on the crew came across this stereo somewhere and decided it would make a nice addition to the lounge that the crew hang out in when they're taking breaks. And so being, I guess, one of the only people that come up when you type in Soundesign, other than the history of the Soundesign brand, this gentleman contacted me, and we were fortunate enough to only be 2 hours apart. And so this was sent to me. It arrived today, and I thought this would be a wonderful opportunity to start making some YouTube videos for those of you across the country who pick one of these up at a thrift store or a yard sale, and you just don't know where to begin, or heaven forbid you really like it, but you're afraid to buy it because you think it's too ugly and it's probably going to need more work than you know how to do. Through this build here, I'm hoping to share some of the little tips, tricks, and skills I've developed along the way to do these restores on a very conservative dime. So I hope you stay with me through this series, and feel free to comment. Everybody does things differently. Some things, you know, sometimes in a moment of creativity, I figure out ways to do different things. You may see me do something and have a better idea. Feel free to share that. I just look forward to the dialogue, and I hope that somewhere across the country, some other of these little gems get picked up and saved. So on that note, I'm going to